Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV. And we just got some new bags of sand and some new tanks up at our Seekonk location. So we're gonna go ahead and use them to decorate. Alright, so just how we stocked up on sand and tanks, we actually also stocked up on new pieces of driftwood. So we got a bunch of larger pieces in, so we're going to play around with a few of them, see what we can come up with. So when you are adding large pieces of driftwood to your tank, especially if your tank is a center brace like this one, you just want to be very careful not to break the center brace or scratch the glass with the wood. So what I'm going for is kind of an all-natural look, make it look kind of like tree roots growing down. I really like this piece because it's got that kind of natural looking arch in it on this side of it, which is really cool. This piece of wood is a little bit of darker in color compared to some of the other pieces that I have, and I just don't have one that looks just like it that's really tickling my fancy. So I think I'm just going to leave it with this one piece of driftwood in our tank for now and see if we can make up for that empty space with some plants and some rocks. So after getting our driftwood base, what I'm going to go through next is add some of our New England roundstone to create more of a hardscape. Like with the driftwood, be very careful when adding rocks into your tank so you do not accidentally drop them, scratch, chip, or break your tank. So I like to go through and surround the driftwood with as many rocks as I can, so when I add artificial or real plants into the tank, that it holds all of them securely in place. So that's just what I'm doing right now, just going through, adding some rocks in, and if I don't like what I do, I can always change it around later. So now I'm just going to go through with some smaller accent rocks to fill in some of the gaps and fill in some places where I'm not going to put any artificial plants. Don't be afraid to pile the rocks on top of each other, but if you do, just make sure they're stable enough that they don't fall over. I don't really like how this big rock here looks, so I'm going to try to add some rocks on top of it, see if I can make it look better. If I can't, might just scrap it. I will say that I do like to decorate a lot more with smaller rocks than bigger rocks. I find that you can do a lot more different crevices and different places for fish to go in when the rocks are a little bit smaller. I just don't really like the look of big rocks. I don't know why. So I placed our really big flat stone with a little bit of a smaller, more rounded stone. I'm liking how it looks a lot better. I do think I'm going to leave this side of the tank open just for some free swimming room and fill in some of these leftover gaps with some fake plants. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with some of these taller background plants to add some dimension in the tank. So these plants are a lot less rigid than other tall plants that we have sold in the past. So these will not look as good in a dry scape setup than they will when they are submerged underwater and all of these come floating to the surface. So bear with me here. When you are working on your tank and decorating it, you just want to make sure that you do not put any pressure on this center brace as it can break and cause your tank to blow out. Now it's time to decide what color scheme I want to go with. Ooh, I could add in some yellow. I'm feeling some warm colors. Kind of some oranges, some yellows, maybe a little bit of red in here. Let's see how it looks. So one of the first things I do before I start decorating is figuring out which plants are foreground plants and which plants are going to be background plants. So if you are unfamiliar with our artificial plants that we sell here, they come in this long kind of stocky shape, which are good for laying up in the background. But if you want to do some more foreground or put them in between rocks, you can actually just bend it in half. There's aquarium safe wire on the inside, and then you just lodge it between some rocks, kind of like this. Move some of your rocks out of the way and then move them back to hold it in place. And then the plant should not move when it gets filled up with water or when the water is flowing around in the tank. So when you are decorating your tank, don't be afraid to move different parts of the artificial plants to different sides of your decorations. Like in this case, the wood. I'm separating different parts of the plant on either side to give it a little bit more of a fuller look. These puffballs are a personal favorite of mine because I just think they are so fun. They come in lots of different colors, they come in a more natural green, and they add an awesome different shape into your tank. When you are planting these foreground plants, you just want to be extra careful that you really get them in between the rocks so you don't see that bend in the middle of the plant, so it looks like it is naturally coming out and growing in your tank. So final thoughts, I think it's looking pretty good, pretty filled in. I don't think I have any other room for any more artificial plants. I just wish these stood up a little bit better in a dry tank so you can get a better feel of what it's going to look like full, but once it is and these plants stand up, it's going to look awesome. The last thing to do is put our canopy back on. There we go. So this awesome brand new decorated 90-gallon tank is for sale, stand and canopy as well, up at our Seekonk, Massachusetts location. So if you like the scape I did today, or if you just like the tank and want a different scape, we can do that again. Come on down, take a look at it, and take it home, make it yours.